So, welcome to our Team Dare to Dream Determination Nation Leaders Call. And we are so excited by this topic that we wanted to open it up to everybody on our team. So, we're recording this and we'll make it available to all. But our guest speaker today is Nate Razzano. And if you're in any groups with Nate, he is just a spitfire. It's just the energy that you have just leaks through Facebook, literally. So I've really enjoyed watching you grow and build your business. And I didn't know you were such an Instagram rock star until this conversation came up in a thread that we were talking about. So I know we're all very excited to hear your perspective, and we're really excited to hear from a dude.
Yeah.
Because we need some more dude magic in our groups.
Awesome.
So I'll let you get started.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. You can hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. And I forgot to introduce you that you're a 5-star diamond, Success Club 10 legend.
Yep.
And are you still considered a newlywed, or is that just like over now?
I guess you can kind of say it. We've been married for a little over a year now, so kind of. But okay. I'm going to go ahead and actually I'll start off with telling my story a little bit. I'll make it short. My mom is the one who introduced me to Team Beachbody. She was in it for about 6 months before I was. And for that whole 6 months, she begged me to join, but I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I wasn't living a healthy lifestyle, so being part of something called Beachbody was really nothing that I had any interest in. And it wasn't until the end of 2010 that I actually basically reluctantly signed up just to keep her, from calling me every day and begging me to do it. And when I did it, I kind of took interest to it. I got P90X to see how it would work, and I got Shakeology, and I loved it. And so I tried to sell it. And that was my biggest mistake in the beginning, is I tried to be a salesperson. And so for 3 months, I had no sales. And I basically put the whole thing on the back burner, and the business part of it, that is, I kept using the product. So I was a discount coach for another year until my mom invited me to an event in Virginia. I was living in New Jersey at the time, and I said, no, I have no interest in being part of it. I was working a full-time job, had my career, what I thought was going for me. And so I made the decision to go down to Virginia to see the family, and I happened to go to the conference, but my intention wasn't to really learn much. I just wanted to go to make her happy, but also spend time with the family. And the conference completely changed my life. I can't remember if it was a Super Saturday, or back then we had all, I think, game plan events or something like that. But all I remember is it completely changed my life. Craig Holliday spoke, and unfortunately, he's not with Beachbody anymore. But his speech really made me decide that I wanted to do this full time. And so I had no idea how I was going to get there or what I had to do to get there. But I just started helping people, and at the end of that year, I made the decision that by the end of the next year, so this was the end of 2012 that I was writing down my goals. I said by the end of 2013, I'm going to quit my full-time job. I laid out my plan. My leader roadmap was all filled out, and it only took me 3 months to match my income Beachbody than I was making with my full-time job. And that's when I started using Instagram. So, long story short, I met my wife through Instagram. She was one of my challengers, and we had no idea who each other were. We had no mutual friends. She was in Texas, and I was in Virginia. She just happened to find me, a stranger on Instagram, started following me, and she joined my challenge group, and now we're married. So that's my story, and I am now going to get into the bulk of the call and teach you how I did it with Instagram, how I was able to build my business primarily off of Instagram. So I'm going to give you a few tips, and then we'll open up if you want for Q&A at the end. So my number one tip is to go public. And this is huge because I feel like no matter what social media platform you're on, if you have high security settings where you're limiting people to see your content, you're not going to reach the majority of people that you want to. and you're limiting your content to people. And that's one mistake that I talk about with my coaches all the time, is to go public. Make sure that your content is public. There's only 2 features on Instagram. It's not like Facebook where you can make custom pages, custom groups that you can, put your stuff out there to. It's either public or it's private. So if you intend to build your business on Instagram, you cannot have a private profile, because nobody will be able to see your content unless they're following you, and you would have to accept that follow. So anybody who's just scrolling through Instagram randomly and they come across your page, you want them to see your content to see if you're worthy enough to be followed according to them. So going public is my number 1 tip. And number 2 is to create an attractive bio. I go back and forth with the content that I put in my bio. I put my email in there at times. I put my Facebook. I test things out all the time to see what's most attractive, like what's most attracting people to following me. Right now, my bio has a quote in it, and before, if you followed me, you may have seen that I had like every single social media platform link in there. But right now, it's a quote, and then and then it says find me on Facebook, and then my domain, my NateRazzano.com, which right now actually takes you to my Facebook, because I'm rebuilding my website. So I say keep it clean, keep the content in there attractive. I like using emojis in my bio. If you intend on making different lines in your bio, let's say you want to have a line with your email address, a line with your Facebook, a line with a quote, or that you're a nurse, or that, something, anything that's going to attract people. The only way to do that is through a notepad or Word. You copy and paste that into your bio, because you can't go line to line within the actual platform, if that makes sense. So build your bio in Microsoft Word or in a notepad, and then just copy and paste it into the field that it needs to be in, and then save it. All right. Number 3 is your content. I can't say, I laugh at myself, because whenever someone asks me, what's your brand? Who are you trying to target to? I say, I'm just trying to target people who want to change their lives. I don't have a specific niche when it comes to a targeted brand, if that makes sense. I think it's harder for men to have that than it is for women, because this business is primarily built with women. 95% of our business is women, and 95% of my business, my downline, are women. I only have like 2 male coaches in my whole downline, or in my personally sponsored downline, I should say. So it's hard for me to have that niche. So really, I'm looking for anybody who's willing to change their life and be the best version of themselves. So my content really is directed to really anybody who just wants to stay motivated. I love posting motivational quotes. I love posting about my dogs. I love posting about what I'm eating, what I'm cooking, my exercises. And so I'm just being me. I'm just being real. And you're basically just a day in the life of Nate when you're on my Instagram. So the content is very important. And if you can target to specific people, do that, because that is very important too. If you do have that target market or that niche, stick to that, because that's really going to help your business boom. And that's number 4 is your target market. I tell my coaches to think between 3 and 5 hobbies. If you're building on Instagram, between 3 and 5 hobbies that you have, whether it be snowboarding or crafting or maybe biking, and then find pages that align with those hobbies, those interests, and find people who are talking about it, find people who are posting about it, and start interacting with those people. Instagram is honestly the easiest platform to build relationships, because you don't have to go into, like with Facebook, yes, you can do searches and stuff like that, and there are hashtags, but Facebook, I don't use hashtags in Facebook because it doesn't really make any sense to. So Instagram is like the ultimate place to build relationships and find people. And so I'm always doing hashtag searches, always going into different pages and just interacting with people through different posts and tagging them and complimenting on their pictures and liking their pictures. And that in return builds up my following too. That in return builds up my my likes and my comments on my pictures. So I feel like that is huge with Instagram. And so hashtagging is number 5. If you're using hashtags, be very direct with them. And what I mean by that is use hashtags that really have to do with what you're posting about. You're not going to post a picture of ice cream, but hashtag meatloaf. It sounds silly, right? So make sure your hashtags align with what you're posting about. I find it very it looks like mush, I feel like, when I see people using like a million different hashtags that have nothing to do with what their post is about. And so rule of thumb, I say use between 6 to 8 hashtags. The maximum you can use is 30. I very, very rarely get even close to that. I sometimes will do 15 hashtags. And the only time I do a large amount of hashtags is when I use the Canva app. I think it's called Canva. Maybe not. One second. No, Gramma. It's called Gramma. Grama. And this app is, if you don't have this app is amazing, because what you can do is you can put in one word, like let's say you put in inspiration, and it will pop up like 100 more hashtags that are commonly used with that one hashtag. So motivation, inspirational quotes, inspire, like different hashtags that are most commonly used with that one hashtag. So that's called Gramma. And when I use that, I might use between 15 and 20 hashtags. But when I'm just putting in my own hashtags, I put in between 6 and 8. And it used to matter whether or not you put your hashtags in the comments or in the caption. And what Shalene Johnson taught in her Instagram Academy is you can delete the hashtags. If you put them in your comments, you can delete them and then repost them about 2 hours later to bump the picture back up into the feed. That doesn't happen anymore. You can't bump your picture back up anymore. So your picture is always going to be in the same spot. So it's posted in real time now. So I say whether you post your hashtags in the caption or in the comments, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have a greater effect either way. The only reason I would say to not post your hashtags in the caption is if you're sharing your picture over to Facebook or Twitter, because you don't want all those hashtags going over to Facebook with the caption, because hashtags don't really make sense on Facebook. I say keep them to Twitter and Instagram and the platforms that they really matter the most. So if you are sharing your pictures from Instagram to Facebook, put the hashtags in the comments. If you're not, it doesn't matter whether or not they're in the captions or the comments. All right. Number 6 is probably the most exciting part of how I built my business. On Instagram, or how I built the platform, and that's the following methods that I've been using. So that's number 6. So the first method I use is what I call the follow-unfollow method. And it's funny because I didn't really know that anybody else was really using this until I heard a national wake-up call from Jen Richardson a few weeks ago. And she was saying how she's built her following. And I was like, oh, all right, she's using the same method that I've been using. So she goes into other accounts, whether it be common interests or hobbies of hers, and she just starts following random people. All right. And then anybody who doesn't follow her back, she'll unfollow. So I teach my team that they can follow 50 people every 5 minutes. The algorithms of Instagram are always changing. Always. I feel like they're changing daily. I've done tons of tests myself because there's no real written rules of what minimum and maximum of people you can follow and stuff is. It's just, it is what it is. So they've upped the amount of people that you can follow every 5 minutes now, but I still teach my team to follow only 50 people every 5 minutes maximum, and then no more than 200 people a day. If you start following more than 200 people a day, you might get locked out from being able to follow any more people. The lock lasts anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. It's kind of like being in Facebook jail, if you've ever been in Facebook jail. So I would say to avoid that, don't follow more than 200 people a day. And remember, you're only following people who have common interests with you. So you're going to pages where you find people who you feel like they'd be attracted to you, or who you're attracted to them. So stick to those pages. And there's thousands and thousands of different pages. I mean, you could probably sit down and think about everything that you enjoy doing, or any hobbies you have, whether it be Disney World, finding Disney pages that you can go to and just start interacting with people's trips to Disney World and say, hey, I was just there last week, or I was just there last month. And that's going to be the best way for you to engage with people and build relationships with them. All right. And then hopefully in return, that will give you a follow. That will have them come to your page and say, oh, this person's paying attention to me. I'm going to follow them because they seem to have an interest in what I'm doing. And so that's helped me a lot. And then the other method that I use is something that I got from Shalane Johnson called the 5-3-1 method. So this is going into, again, random people's random people's Instagram pages or feeds, and liking 5 of their photos, commenting genuinely on 3 of them. So I love leaving compliments or asking questions so they can reply back to me. And that in return should give you a follow. On average, if you're liking 5 photos, commenting on 3 of them, that person's going to say, oh, this person's paying attention to me. I'm going to follow them. And that's why it's so important too, going back to what I said in number 3, our content has to be consistent. Our content has to be attractive to that person that we're engaging with. Because if it's not, they're not going to follow you. All right. Hope that makes sense. All right. So number 7 is engaging with people. And really, this is the best technique that I've used to keep track of who it is that I'm engaging with. So when you're engaging with people and you're commenting on their photos and you're asking them questions, the only way that you are going to get notified that they replied back to you on their own photo is if they tag you. Most people don't know that. So most people aren't going to do that. Probably 2 out of every 10 Instagram users are going to tag you when they reply to whatever it is that you're asking them, or whatever compliment it is that you're getting. So whenever you comment on a photo, you want to also like it. And the reason you want to also like it is because in your Instagram, if you see here the top, that little, where is it? That little thing right there, that little circle thing. If you click on that, it brings you to the settings part. You can click on photos you've liked, or it actually says posts you've liked now. So when you click on posts you've liked, you can go and you can scroll through every post that you've liked. And so then you can see if people have replied back to your question or replied back to your comment. And so you can just scroll through and say, okay, this person didn't reply yet. This person replied. And then you can go and you can respond again to them or follow up with whatever it is that they said to you. And so when you're doing that, when you're engaging with people on their comments, you can take it to direct message if you want on the actual platform to make it more of a private conversation. What I like to do is I like to bridge people from Instagram over to Facebook. All right. I love building the relationship more on Facebook so they can be part of my world over there. And so I can be connected with them over there, because that's where I do most of my interaction with private messaging. I don't usually use the Instagram direct message feature, even though they've made amazing updates with it and it's way better than it used to be. I didn't start with that. So everything that I've really built, I'm still using kind of the same techniques when it comes to building relationships. And I just find it a lot easier to use Facebook Messenger than direct message feature from Instagram. So, so yeah, that's that. So number 7 was engaging and commenting. And then, so when you like the photo, I call that bookmarking. You're bookmarking that photo, and then you're going into that place where I showed you, where you can go look at all the photos that you've liked, and then see if people have replied back to your comments. I teach my team, try to interact with at least 10 people a day, between 5 and 10 people really a day if you can. And whether that be a quick comment or a quick compliment or a quick question on their photo, then do that, because that's going to build relationships. And also, I may have said it in the beginning, I don't remember, when you're building your bio, if you use Facebook too, if you feel like you want everybody to come over to your Facebook, make sure your Facebook information is in your bio so people can see that. All right. All right. So number 8 is the bridging process. And I said that I love bridging people from Instagram to Facebook. Now, if you're not a big Facebook user when it comes to Facebook Messenger, if that is not your primary platform for communication, let's say it's email. Let's say you're an email person. Then you want to bridge them from Instagram to email. Say, hey, you know what? I'd love to continue this conversation. Let me shoot you an email, or you can shoot me one, or however you want to say it, whatever your verbiage is, to get them to bring that conversation from Instagram to somewhere else. All right. That's going to help you stay more organized. So another huge technique that I use too when bridging is my call to action posts. And you're not going to see any on my Instagram right now, because when I make my call to action posts, they're up there for about 2.5, 3 hours, and then I delete them, because I don't want sometimes I use the same call to action post more than one time in a week. I don't want that same post posted multiple times, because then it makes my Instagram feed kind of look spammy. If we, let's say, for example, we have Country Heat coming out, all right? If you're getting ready to build if you're being proactive and getting ready to build a group for that launch, you're not going to want that same Country Heat post made in your Instagram 20,000 times. So you're going to post it and leave it up for a few hours, collect some leads, and then delete it. And then whenever you post it again, you leave it up for a few hours and then you delete it. So whenever I do my call to action posts, whether it be for giveaways or challenge groups or the coaching opportunity, I have a lot of the same photos that I've created. So I'm not gonna have duplicate photos in there in my Instagram, if that makes sense. And so I said giveaways, because giveaways is one of my hugest things that I do. I don't invest any money at all on anything else except for giveaways. So I don't put money on my like page. I don't put money in ads or anything like that. I invest in giveaways. And so I do one pretty large giveaway every single month. So whether it be a bag of Shakeology or a workout program like P90X, I'm giving away one thing every month, which is the maximum amount that we're legally allowed to give away. So I'll post that multiple times in the week and in the month and collect leads. And what happens is, so I'll make the post and I'll say, if you'd like to get entered into my drawing, find me on Facebook and send me a friend request. And so once they do that, I message them. I start building a relationship with them, start finding out what their goals are. My goal is to get them plugged in to a challenge group or sign them as a coach before I even do the drawing. And so I'm going to talk to them as if they're not even doing a drawing. I'm going to build the relationship. It's not going to just be, oh, thanks for the ad, you're entered into the drawing, good luck. I'm not going to just end it there. I am building that relationship and finding out what their needs are, how it is that I can find them a solution. And so on average, I'll get maybe between 25 and 50 new leads every single month from this technique. I'll probably sign, or I should say not sign, I'll probably enroll between 3 and 4 people with challenge groups or as a coach with challenge packs every month from this technique before I even do the drawing at the end of the month. So I'm more than making back my investment before I even have to make the investment, if that makes sense. So that's worked really well for me. If you're just starting out though, I teach my team, I say, don't start with a bag of Shakeology, because you're following, I have 21,000 followers. You don't have a large enough following to get 50 people a month right now. So if you're just starting out, maybe if you want to do a giveaway, do a fix-a cookbook or do something smaller that's not going to break the bank. And because people, no matter what it is, people love free stuff. So they're going to contact you for free stuff. All right. And so, yeah, that's that. And then number 9 is building the relationship. That's after really I bridge people. I make sure that this is like the most important part, I feel, and we all know how important it is to build a relationship. But a few questions that I ask when people send me a friend request, if you're going to use this method, is I ask them how long they've been following me on Instagram. And this has become a very important question for me, and a very important question for my training, because on average, people say they have been following between 2 and 3 months, which tells me that it takes a little bit of time for someone to really trust that you're a real person and really trust that, that you're going to do what you say, what you say you're going to do with the giveaway or the challenge group or whatever. I do get my occasional 1-weekers, and I get my people who say they've been following me for 1.5 years, 2 years. And so it's really just all about staying consistent with this, though, because it can take time for it to really take off the ground. And so, yeah. And then, of course, forming is so important. It's, when I say form, I'm not like I don't follow form exactly the way it's taught in the back office. Sometimes I'll do occupation first or recreation first. I don't go in order of family, occupation, recreation, then message. Sometimes I skip some of those things. But when I say form, really, it's just build the relationship. And that's that. And then finally, to end the call, I just will share my opinion on third-party tools, because this is one of the biggest questions I get from people who are doing the training is, what third-party tools do I use? Aside from that hashtag tool, Gramma, I don't use really any at all third-party tools. Instagress is probably one of the most popular platforms, third-party tools that you can use. And I'll tell you my thoughts on Instagress because I had an experience with someone a few months, actually about 1 year ago. It was someone was a coach, and her son has autism, and she was saying how another coach, I don't even know who it was, uses Instagress. And if you don't know what Instagress is, it's an automatic, it's like a bot service that they'll comment and like photos on your behalf. And so if you've ever gotten a comment on one of your photos that said like cool or nice pic or cool pic or awesome, it's most likely a bot that did that. And so she posted a picture of her son, and however she worded it, whatever the picture was about, someone went on and said, this pic is awesome or something like that. But it wasn't an awesome pic. It wasn't something that really should have been said on that pic. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, you know what? I don't want a bot service commenting on random photos. I have no idea what they even are, you know, especially with the way people post now. I don't want my comment taken the wrong way. So I have become kind of anti-Instagress. I know that a lot of coaches use it for upping their likes and stuff, and that's fine. But that's just me personally. I don't like it, and I prefer just to use the platform itself to do my following, to do my liking, to do my comments, because I want to be more personable. I want to know what it is that I'm liking. I want to know what it is that I'm commenting on, and that is going to build the relationship even more, I feel. So that's my take on that. I think that's it.
Wow, thank you, Nate. That is, I've heard some other Instagram trainings, but this one gave, I think, all of us a ton of really different tips. So I was writing all your stuff down. When you talk about the follow, unfollow, you may have answered this already, but how are you keeping track of who you follow and who you should unfollow?
So I don't keep track. I just follow random people who are within my, I guess, sphere of people. You know, I go into pages that I find are going to have people who would be attracted to my content, and I just follow. I don't keep track of who I follow, but at the end of the week, like, I'll follow between, let's just say I follow between Monday and Friday. It's not always like that, but that's what I teach my team to. Follow between Monday and Friday and unfollow people on the weekends. I first unfollow anybody who's not following me back. If my following count is really, really getting up there where I feel like I'm following too many people, then I'll unfollow people. I typically don't want to follow more than 1,000 people ever. So once like right now, I'm actually following 1,000, 1,600. So I'm at my tip right now. So I'm going to start unfollowing people. So I'm not following, too many people. And so, but this is how I've gained the following, because you follow, people will follow you back. You'll unfollow anybody who's not following you back, and then you'll just start all over again. And so, and then you'll follow, and then your following will increase. But after time, once you start getting into the thousands, 1,000, 2,000, you might want to say, all right, I need to downgrade my following count so I can have room to follow more people. And so there are different third-party tools where you can go and you can see who's interacting with your posts and who's not, and you can go by that. But I don't take the time to do that. I just unfollow people. You know, I just unfollow everybody, really, because my goal is to provide value to people through my posts. And so if I'm doing that, and if I'm using those call to actions, then I'm not going to need to keep up with the feed that I'm following, if that makes sense. I don't scroll through my followers or the people who I'm following, if that makes sense. I am interacting with random people through different pages.
So once they're following you, did you just say you're not really, your comment, your like 5, comment 3, that's going to be on different people that aren't following you?
Correct.
Correct. See. Okay.
Yep. It sure is.
Interesting. Okay, I'm just trying to think. You talked about target market and niche, and I know I've heard Shalene talk about, you want to make sure your followers know what to expect from your page. So if you're following, if your page is about fashion and you start putting in pictures of your doggy or your kids, then people may go, I don't want to. So, but what you said I really like is that yours is the day in the life of Nate. So I personally like that well-rounded approach.
Yeah.
So obviously it's working for you. Do you have any thoughts on one way or the other, why that would work for some people and not why it's obviously the opposite of that is working for you?
Right. No, I totally, and I get this a lot too. I know Shalene Johnson is really big on having completely separate Instagram accounts for different like fashion and motivation and whatever. I only have one other account right now, and I just made it a few weeks ago, and it's only motivational quotes, and I'm building it up. Nobody knows it's me. I don't have my name on there. And my objective, my goal really is to just build it up for a long time, because people love motivational quotes, and it's one of the most shared, most tagged, most liked pages on Instagram. So I'm only doing that because in maybe a few months or a year or so, I'll say who's the face behind this page, and then I'll say me, and then I'll say follow me on my main page. But that's a project that's like brand new. But other than that, I just have my page, and that's it. And I don't feel like, unless you have different brands aside from being a Beachbody coach, if you have your own fashion brand, then do your own fashion page. But if you don't, you need to just keep it one. Just keep it one, because people are going to be attracted to you either way.
So Nate, do you have, how many posts a day do you recommend?
Between 2 and 4.
It's so funny, my teenager, there's a teenager rule about that, right? Do you know what the teenager rule is?
No.
No more than once a day.
Really?
Well, and it's not a business thing, but my daughter, she became a coach, and when we first started talking about posting and because Instagram, and she's like, Mom, I've already posted once today. I can't post that tomorrow. I have to post that tomorrow. I'm like, what? So, and I've heard that. That's a teenager thing, but that's not a business building thing. It's like, this is not your personal network. This is now your business network.
Yep.
That's funny. Is there any other questions? Somebody asked about most used hashtags. Does that kind of just depend on what you're doing?
I would, to find out what the most common hashtags are, I would go into that app, Grandma, and just type in one word and then see what other hashtags people are using. Sometimes you might not want to use the most used hashtags because your content could get lost. And if hundreds of thousands of people are using that same hashtag, that means that your picture will only be up there for a split second. And so when someone goes in to do a hashtag search, they'd have to be on that like right as you're posting. So I would say use some that are a little bit less common, maybe 2 words together. Throw in some common ones in the bunch, but use some that are less common too.
Do you have any comments on the new Facebook or Instagram algorithm, how it's showing?
I saw that. Yes. I don't know what to think about it yet. I haven't seen it in play yet, but if it's anything like the way Facebook is, I don't know. I really am not sure how it's going to work with Instagram, because people are on Instagram because they want to actually see what people are posting. They want to see if they're following someone, they want to see what they're posting. So, and that's how it used to be for Facebook, but then people got so used to the, I guess it's 7%, that one post that's going viral right now.
Whoever came up with that percentage.
What's that?
Yeah, whoever came up with that percentage. Somebody asked me that. They said, how do you know it's 7%? I'm like, I don't know. I just heard it was.
Yeah.
Can you, before you go, talk to us about your whiteboards in the back?
Oh, yeah.
Introduce us to the whiteboard. CBC 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah. So the third one's not even open yet. So it's there for motivation. But then my wife's CBC is at the end there.
Yeah.
But so basically, I have my left side and my right side, and then the names are all there. And then you can kind of see the colors.
Yeah.
So I have blue, green, red, and yellow. So blue is Coach, green is Emerald, red is Ruby.
Are those magnets?
They're magnets.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep. And then so I put the magnets on the sides of the names whenever they change rank, and so I can look back and I can see, okay, who's Emerald right now, who's Diamond right now, and all that good stuff. So It's funny. I got those magnets at Walmart, and they came in those colors, like a pack with those 4 colors.
And then you have a daily check-in whiteboard. Or is that, I couldn't read the back one in the corner. Oh, that's your wife's CBC.
Yeah, that's the wife's CBC. And then back here, can you see that? That is just, those are my 2016 goals. And then on the left is just names of people who are on my list to become a coach. So my future coaches.
Yeah, cool. Well, I like that. I like your CBCs. I had mine on a whiteboard, and I was actually using colored markers for their names, and so I would have to be constantly erasing, and they were emerald, now they're not, and it's like, I like your magnets. That's so much easier.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even plan on using those until I saw them. I was like, this would be really helpful. So I got it all at Walmart though.
Well, thank you. I don't see any more questions, but this has been very helpful. I think I was answering questions as
here, I'll have a couple. The circle thing that I showed you was to see what photos you've liked.
That was in your settings. That's the settings wheel.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And then check out. Yep. And then my username is Nate Razzano. So NateRazzano. And you can go and see my posts and stuff. And really, I'm just, I'm not a creative person at all, honestly. There's so many other coaches who do such a better job at making their whole thing, somehow they make every single picture look like the same color. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, it all has maybe they put a filter on all of them and and give them all like the blue tint. But or they just know how to make it flow better. But it's all random. It's all random stuff. If you scroll down, you see that for a little while I was doing the whole every third picture with a white background.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that just because it was just like
too much trouble.
Yeah, it wasn't increasing any of my content or anything. So I was just like, whatever.
How much time do you spend a day on these steps you mentioned to us with Instagram? How much time would you say?
Well, it's really honestly, like, with the whole following unfollow thing, it's funny because it only takes me about a minute to follow 50 people. I'm really quick with it. So I don't go into people's profiles. I follow them based off of their name and their circle, their profile picture. So if they look like someone who's together and whatever, then I'll follow them. Occasionally I'll follow people who are weird, but I'll unfollow them. But it's hard to say, like, combined time with posting and liking and commenting and stuff, maybe half hour a day, and that's it. So let's see, what's that one question?
How can you say someone's following you? I think you said that you basically just look at who is, go into you can, like, a list of following.
You can see who's following you. And then if, like, this is my list of people who are following me. Yeah. My most list. And then, so if I'm following them, it'll be green. If I'm not following them, can you see that?
No, can't see it. Where is that in your Instagram?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because at the top of your Instagram, so it says followers and then it says following. So you just click on the followers and then it shows you, like you said, if they're following you.
Correct.
They're in green. So, yeah, it's right there. So that's cool.
Yep.
Now, if they're following you, there's really no need for you to follow them back.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's the mistake I think sometimes we make is, okay.
There's not.
Because, and once they follow you, then do you unfollow them?
It depends on how long it's been. So I first unfollow anybody who I'm following who's not following me back. And then if my following count is getting too high, then I'll start unfollowing more people.
Gotcha.
But I'll probably, like, right now I'm following over 1,000. I'll probably bring that down to about 500 and then start following more people and then do the same thing and just go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Well, I'm only following 642, so I guess I'm in the right, but I only have 1,800 followers, so.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right. Well, I know we have, we've been at 50 minutes, so I don't want to keep you all afternoon. So
Oh, you're fine.
if somebody tags you in a spammy post, I know I just go into their profile and I ban them and I report them.
Yeah.
I ban and I report.
Yep.
And then you can untag yourself, can't you?
I don't know if you can untag yourself, but you can definitely block them.
Yeah, that's what I do. I block them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times people will get me on like gain more followers, gain more followers. I don't know how they do it, but
I know. And then they resurface again with some other profile look. It's like, oh my gosh.
I would love to know what system. I mean, like you've seen those posts on Facebook, you know, get your $50 free McDonald's gift card. It's like, how do they get so many comments on there? How do so many people think that this is real?
I know,
like,
and then your friends tag you in that. You're like, don't tag me in that.
I'm like, how are they doing this? I don't even know.
Yeah.
If only we can like do that for like a challenge group, you know.
Well, thank you so much, Nate. If we have additional questions, then I will gather them up and send you a message because I'm sure we will. But this has been really, really helpful. And you know, I need to return the favor for you, and you need to give me a date. So.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody.
All right, see you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.